And hello and welcome to another afternoon with Delenn. Hopefully everybody is having a great day. Just going to quick browsers because a lot of junk going on in those. And we will head to live. Now, you'll see something a little different than usual. I'm playing with an experiment just to see how I feel about things. So feel free to laugh or whatever, or don't laugh, whatever works for you. But in any case, we this afternoon are trying something a little different. So here we are. This afternoon we are working on a boat, and I'm playing around with finally getting to working on the ship for the Death on the Nile reference. Let's just put it off. And I was just finishing up turning some quartz into smooth quartz. I'm definitely going to need a lot more of that product, but yeah, it's going to be different. Let's see, what have I got going? Not really sure.
Hello.
Yes, my avatar is very different. My avatar took a bit of a holiday. It's not a technical problem. That was a choice on my part, just to see what I thought of it. So I don't mind the fact that I've, I guess you could say, leaked face reveal. It's not exactly that exciting, but yeah, apologies in advance as well. I don't do makeup. Never have, never will. Hate the stuff. Hate it more than I can say. So yeah, it's a little different. But pleased to see that you were able to drop by, Yellow. It's always a pleasure. Feeling a little self-conscious just because just before I jumped on stream, it wouldn't have mattered had I used, oh, it's late, okay. It wouldn't have mattered had I used, oh, got the quartz, what I came back for. An avatar, but in any case, I still can be derpy through the doors. There we go. I know I won't have enough quartz. Make more. Anyways, feeling self-conscious because I actually had, just before I jumped on stream, shoved a huge mitt full of chocolate chips in my face. So I know there's no chocolate on me, but it just feels like my teeth are disgusting. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm playing with the camera. Actually, strangely enough, it's the same camera that I usually use for the motion capture for my avatar, and don't know what I think of this. But in any case, so finally getting around to working on the boat for the Death on the Nile reference that goes with these two statues. I'll just jump up here and a quick view of journey map to see where we're at, because I derped around a little bit this morning. But I think you can see the fishies going by here. Let's just shut those off. I guess those aren't animals. Oh no, they're there. Oh, okay, and I have Round, who's coming to visit. Where are you, mister? One. It's gonna be one of those days when the mouse is non-cooperative. Great. This is another reason I use an infinity bow. Alright. And I have to just quickly hop on and mute Discord because it's driving me crazy. Otherwise I'm going to be wanting to watch it. And that was just the self-promo of me, and yes, it's in the corner, so everybody will know. Oh. Hello. I'm still using the flesh for trading purposes, so that's why I bothered to pick it up at all. Perfect, okay. So, where were we? On the journey map. You can see we've got the statues, roughly where I'm standing, just up to the north. And then we've got this boat. Now, I'm tearing out part of the main level here. Trying to figure out the size of the deck itself. I'm trying to figure out the size of the deck itself. And in order to do that, I needed to reference roughly the staterooms that would normally, not staterooms, sorry, the cabins that would normally be on the upper deck, but I used them on the main floor to be able to figure out how big this thing should be. And as you can see, it's just a floating level right now because I've not dealt with the hull or the crew quarters portion. Part of it is they've got water. They've got windows almost at the water line in this boat. So for reference, I'm just gonna, so that I don't fall in, finish this bit, and then I will show you the picture that I'm working with. And no, we're not all about realism and everything today. Archie knows. Okay, but along with the Death on the Nile reference, where is the references folder? Hello, Arch. Glad to see you. I'm just turning on images. Okay, so that's the ship we're looking at.
Hello.
That putting together. So that's from the. Hey, Neon. Team Mending all the way. Yeah, no, I'm Team Infinity because periodically I have mouse issues, and other times I have a very, very bad habit of running out of arrows. Yeah. So we may hear a little bit of noise from upstairs. My daughter's coming in from a play date, has less than an hour to do a turnaround and go back out for a friend's birthday party sleepover. And it'll be my daughter's first sleepover, so going to be a little wound up about getting everything ready, and we may hear a bit of background noise as they grab mats and like sleeping mats and sleeping bags and stuff out of the wall. So anyways, this is you see on the side of the ship in the picture, it says the SS Sudan. So that's the ship that was referenced as the design for.
Hello.
Hey, PP Zerk. Now we're even. In any case, so the SS Sudan was actually considered widely to be the where did I put the other one? Considered widely to be the inspiration used by Agatha Christie when she wrote her story for Death on the Nile, and she actually, there's passenger records show and photos and stuff to show that she traveled on the SS Sudan in the 30s with her husband, who was an archaeologist working in the area. So, hello all around. Howdy, Zerk. So she definitely was likely to have used that as a reference piece. It was run by the Thomas Cook Company, which later became Cook and Son, and they were the premier, pretty much the only tourist agency. They kind of, I mean, the thing about that period is that you didn't have to worry as much about laws preventing you from having a monopoly. So if you could actually keep your business interesting enough that you, in essence, froze out the competition and were the only game in town, by all means, go for it. So I'm a little short on mats, as usual. That's just the name of Delen's game. But what I'm working on here is I laid out this morning in this morning's stream, I laid out a bit of what would be some of the cabins and some of the suites that would be on board the modern usage of the ship. And just to help me get a bit of an idea for scale. Now we're nixing the washrooms just because I really don't feel like a double length ship. It might look a little better proportion wise, but oh, that's good. It might look a little bit better proportion wise, but it's not something that is really necessary even in Minecraft. And as we saw when I was trying to do the train decoration, that cabinets or living in a closet is not exactly ideal, but Minecraft does not really allow you a whole lot of detailability. And wow, I have a couple people. Not bad. Better than one. Always good. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3. Oh, wrong one. And I will be derping around a little bit in the smooth block iron. Can go over there. birch planks. Got to do birch doors. Ooey. I'll get there in a minute. My brain keeps wanting to do the cabins, but I'm not on the correct deck level for that, so part of why I'm trying to get the bottom done so that we can start putting on some of the decorative elements along the walking zone of the ship, and that way we can start figuring out heights and layouts for the upper one, which will have the decks. And as you can see from the photo, there was not a significant size difference between the two decks in terms of, like, it doesn't pull in a whole lot. So I don't have to worry much about going straight up, except for I need to try and figure out the ship's paddle wheel housing. As you can see in there, the big white chunk on the side with the sort of semicircle on it. It houses one of the two ship's wheels. Of course, there's one on one side and one on the other, because it's a paddle steamer. And I have to figure that part out, because that does significantly cut into the side of the ship and virtually eliminate a lot of the walk space. But it needs to be roughly centered in the ship, so, I mean, in terms of realism, it would be. Which makes it a bit challenging to figure out how to do it here in Minecraft. Girl, oops. So, yeah. That part will probably end up being done in something else. My son thinks it should be done in white concrete, which, we all know how much white concrete I tend to carry around on a regular basis. Nil. But it'd be worse. And I'm just a whole bunch of, or an awful lot of white wool kicking around just so that I can use it for layout markers. Nowhere, but there. Want my shears? And really, I am serious? No, never. But I want to try something a little different. Was just minorly frustrated, I guess, with the look of what I was seeing from the Avatar. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, there are plenty of people that do that sort of thing. I'm not necessarily looking for realism, but really all that thing was supposed to be was a fill-in until I decided whether or not I felt comfortable doing a face cam. And I didn't feel pressure, just in case anyone has that question. Didn't feel pressure to do it. I was actually kind of wanting to do it, but I'm not. Let's just say self-esteem monster's not a happy camper at the moment. Just that's the way it is. So that was part of what the Avatar was for. And depending on how busy a stream gets, I may chicken out and go back to that character if I feel that I'm not comfortable where it's going. So yeah, there may be a return of that creature. I also have not bothered working on a custom Minecraft skin for the weekend. We'll just have the same usual thing, because one of the things I thought about was, by the time you get your armor on, nobody really sees your custom skin anyway. I'm not using a mod pack that makes the armors invisible, so not much point. Okay. But when you look from the sky, based on roughly where I'm at, referencing this center section here where it's just a little bit wider, and that's on purpose. It's a double wide walkway. I'm going to shut down this picture for now. I'm going to probably use that as my center. Use the center line for the ship, like as the box. But that may not work so well. I'm a little bit ahead of that. Once again, not for you guys, just for me. Okay, yeah. I want actually a bigger zone in between the two. The ship is a little bit on the short side, because there should be a crossover section in the middle so that people can get past the ship. Or not ship, sorry, the wheelhouse. Not the wheelhouse. The paddle wheel housing. Yes. So the ship is actually too short. Back section's not bad. The front section needs to go quite a ways out. I need to figure that out, and then I can come up with the center section for the wheel housing thing. Yes, yes. It does look like it. I hadn't even thought about that, Neon. No, actually, I'm not. I didn't intentionally stream at 360. That would be news to me, to be honest with you. Let me just take a quick boo and see what my values are telling me. No, it seems to think that I'm still streaming at nearly 6,000 kilobits. So, I don't know, because it should have been 1080, 1920 by 1080 sort of thing. But I don't know. I haven't changed anything since the last time it worked. We'll just have to see. Although I suspect that you're probably referring to the fact that I was using my rather janky map. This is the journey map. And I was looking at doing a very large dog. Thought I saw one that, for an inspiration, that would work really well as a schematic. Realized very quickly that in order to get the detail I wanted, I would have to go large, but the schematic I saw was like ridiculous large. So, yeah. Not quite what I had intended. Let's go make the front end of this thing a heck of a lot longer. That would be my best interest. I'm trying to figure out how much space I would like in the center section between the fore this way and the aft off this way. I was originally just using a 2-block walkway, but that really doesn't work in terms of the scheme. Even if I drop having washrooms in there, it was just a little too short. Better. So I think what I'm going to be probably better to do is just decide on a center point and then work from there. When I'm doing circles, 1, 7, 8. I believe the app works better. Sorry. Or game circles work better on even values, but it's going to pick me later on. 1, 7. Yeah, that was 8. So that when one's doing paddles, I can do things like back-to-back stairs. But yeah, that means I don't really have a center point. Actually, if that's my center point, I did a pretty good guess this morning. Far too large, though. Okay, just go jumping off things. Let's see. Don't want it crazy big. Let's just use 4. 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 5. Here. There. Okay. Yeah, that's reasonable. Then I'll just extend out the front part of it because I can. But really what I'm looking at is enough stuff. Is that there wouldn't be much, there'd be a little bit of overlap between the ends of the cabins and the side of the wheel. This is just sort of taking place of things. Pardon me. 4 and 4. Yeah, that should do. I'm actually going to make the whole thing stick out more later on, but, ooh, not those. Stairs, please. Start with, I've never made a wheel before, just so you guys are aware, so I'm not really actually making the wheel at the moment. I'm looking at in the space, and, oh, don't like that. That's just the top part. The decking will probably change color, by the way, so it's not a huge thing. It's just more of a space holder. Yeah. cups. The only reason I've got the whole of the ladder in the middle of the ship is just because that's where I started this morning, and figure why change it. We can't actually make stairs out of pretty much anything other than wood products. It is really disappointing. Maybe we can get quartz stairs. I could do it out of quartz. The thing is, I'm going to be using quartz in the walls, so actually would not work as well in the stairs too. I can do it in birch down here. That's a possibility. I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to be doing birch walls instead of instead of other ones. So I could have actually tried this in creative first. Somebody told me, yeah, that might be a smart plan, but villain and smart plans are two things that don't usually go together. I kind of wish you could just like bob without having to stay jumping all the time. But the other reason I did it straight on the water is for the underneath portion for the hull. I wouldn't have to worry as much about the lack of creative flight. Yeah. I won't keep it in, as I said, I won't keep it in wool because this actually does look kind of dumb. That's actually going to be not bad. I'm not actually going to bother with a real wheel inside, at least not above the waterline. I may once I get below where the box is, but above is just kind of. Okay. Rounding out, squaring off. Oh, that's true. Squaring off the box. Like. Dirk is indeed one of the channel's incredibly amazing mods. So it's not necessarily who let him in here, it's the, my goodness, what would I do if I didn't have a Zerk? A Zerk of some sort. I'll take either one. But sometimes us girls have to stick together, though. Right. Take some of this from a... I can stop bobbing for a minute. My head not like bobbing so much. Worse. Oops. Hi. Ooh. Strange enough, I'm actually relatively pleased with that. It needs to be bigger. But I'm relatively pleased with that bridging. Yeah, I hope Firetech is off too. The majority of the ship will be actually... We're going to have iron blocks underneath for the hull, and it actually has windows at the waterline. And then above the waterline, the white quartz will be used for most of the walls, the rest of the place. And then if the roof light's on fire, well, the roof light's on fire. It's just It's gonna be that way, right? Alright, so actually I'm not too unimpressed with that. Let's see. Maybe a little bit higher so I can actually get lettering on there. And probably one or two wider, maybe? I'll go with one for now and then see how it looks once I eventually get banners and stuff up there. I'm actually just going to call it the Karnak for the book reference. Ooh, a little jittery. Let's go for a sleep. Alright, so one row higher so that I can theoretically put up banners and we're golden. Wait a minute, I made this square. Yeah, this one has 5 letters. Dagnabbit. Well. Okay. And don't want to think what part of you stuck in my face. It's not big, Mr. Squid. Move everything over by 1. Having 2 slabs across the middle, I'm just going to go with the 1. Oh. Before I started on stream this afternoon, my son asked me why I wasn't using a turtle helmet. And I told him that it was more environmentally friendly. He said, but you're making a steamship. That's a good point. Not exactly be environmentally friendly with a steamship. I just did it again. Put here and find out. Nope, that's about right. Not the right thing, need more wool. Not books. Books. In iron right now. So. Okay, well, let's just go with it. Hmm. I knew I missed them. Weird. That works better. Then I need 1 row across the top. So if I mix it inside, it should be number. Or 9 midpoint. That out just to know my midpoint. And I missed. Those super jumps of the you can be a real pain. I said I was going to totally take it apart after and not build it out of wool. What I'm actually going to do in this case is fully build it out of wool just for conceptualizing the space. And then if I change it, I change it. If I give up partway through, then yes, I've done that. All right. The double. There wouldn't be a railing for people to lean on. I think section would actually probably one more in. Oops. Now for the weekend, when is it? Okay, good. The weekend, I'm actually still looking at taking on Villager Outpost. Not really sure about doing that. I don't have any clue whatsoever how long that may or may not take. So, hopefully we'll have plans, figure out what I'm going to do with the space right afterwards. Side, I think that's the middle line. Like the middle line. Where is this? Where it's blue. Here. There. Mental straight line. Under this one? Yeah. Okay. There go those even numbers again. Fucking. Take a quick overhead and see. Not really sure that I like that. I'll show you my quick reference that I'm working on, why I don't like it. Reference image, web browser. Okay, so you'll see in the browser that comes up. Maybe the browser will come up. Maybe it won't. Yes, it won't. Okay. Yeah, supposed to. Weird. Okay, well, it did not want to come up. Oh, I guess it does. Everything comes up except the web browser, so I don't know what Edge is doing today. That'll be fine. Let's see, what about... Nope, that one just does not want to come up. There we go, okay. So this is actually an art piece that someone's done for a totally different game, like a Call of Cthulhu game. And I will actually just put that, let's put that way up. That should work, okay. So the Call of Cthulhu picture, oop, wrong one. It was a rough layout that somebody has done of this particular ship for that game. So I figured since there weren't a whole lot available floor plans, then I'd go with something like it. Now we're going to ignore the section on the left entirely because that's the upper deck that would not have existed at the time of the story. But if you take a look at the other two, particularly the right-hand one, that you'll see that there's zero reference whatsoever to the actual space for the wheels. So there's definitely some artistic license going on there that I'm not going to be paying too much attention to. But that said, that we can see that my boat is a lot more square, right? Even compared to the reference image, wrong one. that one. You, stop moving. There. So, taking a look at that reference image, we see that, well, it's probably a little bit wider in the sides than I've made it out to be. So as a way of fixing that, when I lengthen it out, I will probably do a little bit more angular work and chop it off at the edge here. It's a bit square. But, yeah. Minecraft, you know, limitations of Minecraft. Okay, so I have to figure out, I'm going to be chopping it off. Probably do so simply because otherwise I'm going to lose track of how wide this thing needs to be. My center line, that'll work better. Center here. Okay. Post. Sure, that'll work. 1, 2, 5, and 6. I don't think it would have been 6 from there. Trying to think here. No, actually, a little bit wide. This part looks right, but I think I would have actually had one less block down the center. So, made an oops already. That's okay, we can cut it off the other side. So Archie, you said hi then left. Oh, yes, okay. So, summarizing for Arch, this is my Delen's interpretation of, becoming Delen's interpretation of the Karnak from Death on the Nile, so the main steamboat involved, based off of a boat that Agatha Christie wrote on in the 30s, called the SS Sudan, which was, I believe, built around about somewhere between 1926 to 8, correctly? Cut it in once. There, or by 1. Post. There. Take off this one. Yeah, so she used that one as her reference. Going to work. Probably a lot easier than trimming everything all the way around. So 5. 1, 5. So she met a rather well-to-do gentleman who was an archaeologist, which archaeologists tend not to be in the poorhouse back in those days because they had to foot their own bills for their adventures. So she was living in Egypt at the time because her mother had gone there 5 to get away from the wet England weather, and she wanted to stay away from the cold and the wet England weather, which is kind of amusing only insofar as one of Christie's earlier pieces, after she moved to that area, was actually called Snow in the Sudan. So, obviously it didn't work out quite the way she'd originally expected. Correct. This will be, start having the white wool. Yeah. And I did it 4D up to this. Two, 3. One sticking out the edge, and I've got a lot of cleanup to do. Chopping down the woodland mansion, or one of the woodland mansions that the server team had taken down. Which, by the way, for anyone interested, I am at the point where I'm finished. There's, I mean, I could have taken out an awful lot of stone and cobble and whatever, but really it's just tearing into the landscape at this point. So yeah, I'm done with that project. But anyways, after tearing that down, I have a good amount of dark oak in particular, but also a fair amount of some birch out of that, and this, that, and the other thing, kind of. 4. I think I did the 4 on the other side. 4. Great. Off. So it's actually kind of interesting because one of the articles I was reading just the other day, somewhat in preparation for doing this build, more psyching myself up than anything else, was actually an article on recommended Agatha Christie movies to watch. Yeah, I do, a little bit. Part of it is because rather than referencing just the movie Arch, I wanted to reference the book. And so that, by necessity, means that there's more homework to be done. Because I really enjoyed the novel. And it's not necessarily that I don't like the movies, but I really did enjoy the novels. And I was originally planning to be able to make references in my base this season to multiple different books that I had not seen, either not seen adaptations I liked or have just not seen any adaptations of. Unfortunately, thus far, some of the ones that I wanted to do reference to that worked out well in the novels don't always translate to something that can be done in a 3D sense, but without referencing television, or even if I did, it didn't work out. For example, I would really, really want to do a reference to Miss Jane Marple from Agatha Christie's novels. It's not just Christie's work, but Miss Jane Marple is one that I really wanted to take on. Unfortunately, she's one of those little old lady biddies that doesn't necessarily have any super defining features. So that makes it really difficult for me to do any base references to it. Another example is I was struggling with Father Brown, but then I discovered that in one of the adaptations, they managed to pull off successfully I wouldn't say iconic, but the often referenced a bicycle that the character rode in the books. That was his method of getting anywhere as a priest, rather than having, a chauffeur or something, because of course that would have been seen as all kinds of wrong. Anyway, they pulled that off, but I struggled with the way the bike looked. It's not that I can't do it; it's that it's not my forte. So I may end up having to get some help from Alex Silgrimper with the look of the classic bike. That's one that's a challenge. One of my other favorites that I'm unable to do a reference to, just lack of skill on my part, is anyways. Oh, I'm down by a whole row and then I started. Okay. Okay. How about evens everywhere? When it's not Minecraft, I love evens. When it's in Minecraft, I hate evens. Counterpoint, go. I can add it from above. But anyways, I've read and really, really enjoy Ellis Peters' monk-themed series involving Brother Cadfael. But the problem with that is it's a monastery or an abbey. And even though it was done in the smaller town of Shrewsbury, England, it's not been one that's all that easy to reference.
Hello.
So, yeah, it's a little challenging in that respect. Cadfael is awesome! And I loved the series where they used to show it on Masterpiece Mystery on PBS. And it was always the hosting was always opened by Diana Rigg, who awesome. And Once Upon a Time was considered hot. I mean, I would not know because I'm not into the whole hot thing, but yeah. She has a great way with her voice that really impresses me. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Okay. Oh, I see. I did something wrong here. Okay. Yeah. And Brother Cadfael, as portrayed by Derek Jacobi, is like the bomb in my world. But unfortunately, as I was mentioning, referencing that in 3D Minecraft stuff is a little beyond my skill. Oops. And the other thing is, it's an 18 book series. No, let me correct that. Whoa, 20 book series. So that would mean that it's got a lot of opportunity, but nothing was necessarily iconic in a way that people who aren't super familiar with the series would even recognize. And that's the shame of it all, I guess you could say. Somehow this isn't looking right. And aside from not being finished, but yeah, this isn't looking right. Thinking while I sank. Here. I don't think it was 5 wide on the side. It was. Got stairs. Yeah, Derek Jacobi did a great job of the character, and so I was kind of in love with it. But I mean, I'm spoiled because one of the other favored portrayals of various characters, you guys have heard me wax on and on about Sherlock Holmes before. And I'm a Jeremy Brett fan, but I mean, there's a gazillion people who prefer Basil Rathbone, there's a few who prefer Christopher Lee, there's like, you name it, people like it. It's different. So, it's always a challenge to see which one you want to cover. So referencing, related to that, I was mentioning earlier that I was looking at doing a big dog. Well, the problem with the big dog was it was supposed to be the Hound of the Baskervilles reference from Sherlock Holmes. Drawback is that in Minecraft, as we talked about lack of detail, lack of detail means that it's very difficult to be able to portray correctly at a decent, survivable size something that is not, or that is a Mastiff and Bloodhound cross. Yes. So, if you're into old-fashioned actors, you might have some clue. But if you're not, I would not blame you for having no idea what I'm going on about. Yeah. Oh, I do have them. Oh. This. Iron, okay. He's back into 1, 2, 3. No. So, Derek Jacobi has a lot of Shakespearean training. Very classic gentleman. Jeremy Brett is one who, he's got some very classic training. Some who are into musicals, potentially, might know him from his work doing one of the characters in My Fair Lady. What else? He did, for the Granada out of England, he did Sherlock Holmes for years and years and years. And they actually have like, books on it in terms of like the man who was Sherlock Holmes and so forth. Guess that's okay. And then Basil Rathbone, or Rathbun, depending on how you want to pronounce it. He did Sherlock Holmes movies in the late 30s through to, I guess, a little bit of the 1940s, and that was when Hollywood insisted, for some unknown, ridiculous reason, to jump on the propaganda bandwagon. And so we had Sherlock Holmes versus the Nazis on multiple different occasions. It just got kind of ridiculous. And that was the birth of the stereotype of the bumbling sidekick Watson. Because unfortunately that was how MGM and Nigel Bruce chose to portray the character in plenty of the radio shows that they had done, as well as in the films. yeah. Not everybody's into stuff older than them. Some people like to stay modern, and I probably should, but I never did. Okay. But my center line is wrong, and I want to move over by 1. Means everything else comes out by 1. 2 quartz. I won't have enough, but that's the name of the game. Railings, walk. Sure. Well, if you listen to any of the Sherlock Holmes programs, even the BBC one, where they talk about the Mind Palace, and that was the BBC version, was starring Benedict Cumberbatch of Doctor Strange fame, and a few other pieces of late. But anyway, point to that part of the story was that in that and Conan Doyle's original work, there has been commentary on the idea of a lumber room as like, or a not a lumber room, like an attic, I guess you could say. So yeah, over here we call it an attic. In Britain, they'd often have a lumber room. Pretty much the same thing in terms of storage for your old junk. And how that relates is that Holmes makes a reference to not necessarily storing information in his head. Oops, dumb. Maybe, yeah. Okay. He doesn't store information in his head that is not relevant to his line of work. That's not the case with me. I have a whole lot of flotsam of jetsam of random nonsense over the years that are still stuck in there, and forever they shall remain. And it's completely useless, but every once in a while somebody says, hey, that's a neat tidbit. Then I go, oh, sure, yeah, telling you that was intentional, right. Smiley way. There's a lot of smile and wave stuff going on. Now, I'm pulling out some of these. I will be pulling out this center line as well, I believe. Drag up my finger. So I'm taking license and using a little bit of the artistic Cthulhu work in with the 1, 2, 4, and 5. 1, 4. Oh, sorry. I'm the wrong thing. 1, 2. 1, 2, 4, and 5, and then that. Okay, perfect. I did want it to come in 1, and then have the double walking space with rails. So we'll have like a walking rail. People can like chill out and stuff on the rail along the railings. And then every so often we're going to have quartz pillars. So it's definitely an interpretation. All right. But anyways, so I used the space to try and figure out, or use the cabin design to try and figure out the width of the ship initially. And that's going to need to change simply because, oh, that's not a middle line. Simply because, well, we don't have cabins a lot on all of this level. A lot of them are on the next one up. So, yeah. Okay. One of the other perks to streaming this time slot, base cam aside, is that I don't have to worry about a server reboot right in the middle. So, no built-in LEGO slot, but that's probably not necessarily a bad thing because I did forget in between the 2 streams, one from this morning and the one this afternoon, I did forget in between to go and sort the LEGO knolling, which just means that if somebody redeems a LEGO build step, that we'll just have to dig through the pile. It's not a big deal. A little bit noisier. Okay. So, you can see that we're making some progress based on the picture that we've got below. I think I'm still going to have to lengthen out the front of the ship a bit more, but not as bad as I thought I was going to have to. I'm just going to shrink that picture down because I did not realize I had it quite so large for you guys. that now. And I can temporarily turn it off. I think. Maybe? There we go. That's kind of funny, because when you think about, you say I've got an amazing pile of knowledge, like you're just walking back to that comment. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's sort of good to hear. The kicker, though, is if I use it up during the week, then when it comes to something like the weekend, when we're doing Green Weekend or whatnot, I feel like I'm going, what do I say now? You know, and it feels kind of silly. So, can't win them all. But I'm sure I'll find something else. I mean, the best part about having random knowledge is that for weekends, I can actually respond to the people more. That really sounds crazy when it comes out that way. But I can respond to people talking to me a bit more, because there are more people to have as fodder. Fodder, that's not the word. I think you know what I mean, even if I don't necessarily sound like I mean what I, or say what I mean. But anyway. But where I'm going with it is to say that, oops, blocks. Need blocks. Oh. There'll be space on the front of the ship, but not necessarily much to walk around. Nine. Odd numbers, of course. Now I can't even remember where I measured from. Say no more. Say no more, save it for the weekend. No, this isn't a video, Arch. I can actually come up with new information between now and then. 2, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14. There we go. Besides, sometimes it helps because I can squirrel during the week on one thing, and then I'll squirrel on something different on the weekend. 7, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. 7, 19. So it's not that much longer. Not sure I'm liking that. It looks really snubby-nosed. I feel like 19 and then the nose. Let's try that. And I'm also going to make the nose a little bit longer, too. Oh, time to G'd up the pizza. Gotcha. I'm having wings for dinner tonight. With my daughter out at her friend's place, my son got to choose what was for dinner, and he wanted a wing night, so... Ooh, yeah. I love wings, so it works well. 4, 9... 18, 19. Let's go for double nose. How's that look? 1, 2. The only thing I have to keep an eye on while I'm working on this is the phantoms. I'm okay with the fork wielders, but the phantoms are not my cup of tea. Speaking of which, thank you very much, Mr. Sleeper. Oh, you remember the pizza pan. So, Neon, I caught a comment that you'd made not too long ago about heating up food in the or what you guys do with half your meals. When you eat pizza, what method do you choose to use for that? A lot of people have their own sort of, oops, that's not stream. A lot of people have their own favorite way of heating things up, but pizza's not one that I really know too much about in terms of favorite way of heating it. I've done it different ways, but I'm not picky about how my pizzas are warmed. So particularly when they're reheated. So I'm always kind of curious to know what other people prefer to do. The front end blunt on this one. Block less. Using the right tool, that might help. The right tool, so I don't need to be a tool. Two, three. Now the theory is, if I count right, should match up on the other side. However, theories and practice are two different things, right? Air fryer cooked from scratch. Good plan. I didn't even know there really was a pizza pan that would actually even fit in there. So hey, you learn something new every day. For us, it's actually a long weekend. So Arch will be having a long weekend this weekend officially. I don't know if his business will actually be conducive to that, but we're supposed to have a long weekend on Monday. The result of that is that my kids have a professional development day. Well, non-instruction day. We used to call them PD days when I was growing up, but now we understand they're not all development. Sometimes it's marking days or other teacher issues. I'm sure one of our fine friends, CK Grapes, could probably fill me in on what teachers actually do during those days. But anyways, so that means that for the kids, it's a 4-day weekend, hence the sleepovers tonight and so on and so forth, which works out well. I could have got out of town a long weekend, but I think I actually like having a day to squirrel a little bit on each end and relax. We're getting back into the groove of things, and then do something interesting like Dream Weekend or whatever in between. I'm still at that stage where, although I should get out and do stuff, I mean, my physical health would probably encourage me to do things. Rather, or part of my therapy, to link those two comments together, and I'll get back to that in a second, Arch. But part of my therapy is to enjoy some streaming with people. It's funny though, sometimes when I stream for the first few minutes in the mornings during the week, and as I said, I don't mind there's nobody here, but it's kind of amusing because every once in a while I'll get distracted by the fact that one of the lines from the first Frozen movie, they've got the song, "Do You Want to Build a Snowman?" And Anna, our main character, is asking her sister to build a snowman with her, come out and play, do something, because Anna says, yeah, I need somebody to play with, really, because I'm talking to the pictures on the walls. And truthfully, sometimes playing Minecraft on your own, particularly when you talk to the villagers and stuff, as I do, that it really does feel like I'm talking to the pictures on the walls. And the sad part is, these pictures, because it's Minecraft, actually respond back. I can be highly amused easily when I'll say something rather benign and ridiculous to a villager, and they'll turn around and I get "her" in a perfectly placed response so that it actually sounds like they said something that they cared. Okay, I have center line. Any more quartz pillars? Get the quartz pillars in. Now, I was just thinking, I have done this very slightly wrong, because this very outside edge, I think, should actually be the edge of the hull. So, it's debatable. Turn the reference back on. But yeah, teachers do need therapy. So, stretching it back again, big, just temporarily. you can see that we've got a part of the deck edge hangs over, particularly right up next to the wheel box. However, underneath the hull goes farther back. So I was debating whether or not to put the railings on. There we go. Put the railings on the wood deck, or if I would change it to iron. I think I'll just leave it as wood and then do the iron underneath. Just one of those, I guess, 'cause I can moments. But now it means that this part is in the wrong spot. So pulling up the other picture, reference image, this one, yeah. So pulling up this picture, for example, I can never actually get that to be in the right spot. Here we go. Down, thank you. Okay. Oh, snappy, okay. Things want to snap to the edge of the screen today. That's the way it is. Anyway, where I was going from there is to note that in the center, that's actually the level that we're standing on, is the center picture there. So looking at the stern, which is down at the south end of the picture, or at the bottom, they've got the lifeboat back there, and I'm not going to bother that bit because it's totally irrelevant, and we wouldn't have actually had it. However, they've got enough space at the back, so I'm not too worried about that. And at the front, there's just a little bit of extra space, so I can move the quartz row up a ways, but I want to make sure that I've got the right sizing and stuff. And I'm trying to remember if it was one room on that floor or if it's two. Okay, so it's one good sized suite on that floor. That's going to be probably about 6 across, I think. Now, I was attempting to earlier show you guys the web browser picture that I was looking at, but it just does not want to show, and yet I'm at the right level that it should be showing above the game. It just doesn't want to for some reason. It's just mysteriously missing. I don't know. So, yeah. Do I take it out of the folder? Does that help? Hello? Nope, doesn't seem to help, so I don't know. Any case, so looking at the picture we've got there, it's fairly similar to what I'm looking at, and at the north end of the ship, there's actually supposed to be one very large suite. I was just trying to figure out how much space to let people have as a walk past the end of this suite. And I think place tin file. Cooking instructions from Neon. Awesome. Now you're making me want pizza. Do I want pizza or wings? I think I'll stick with the wings, but still, now you're making me want pizza anyway. Okay, but it looks like from the sketches I'm seeing on the booking website that there actually would be a walk-around space around the front suite, so it's going to be as narrow as the pair of suites in behind it from that line. Or, well, yeah, from that line. So I don't need to worry about this bit because things are moving farther forward. And I'm going to have to figure out my spacing again because I really messed it up. Oh well. But it is. Textures in Minecraft are actually disturbingly similar. And I don't just mean in your hand, but also on the deck. Like smooth quartz is, I'm not even going to bother putting the other one down, but smooth quartz is virtually identical to a not smooth quartz, except the not smooth quartz has like a bit of a border on the edge. And I really don't like the border. So because you can't force a connected texture on that one, then that's what the smooth item is for, but it's just a lot of extra fussing around just to get the same kind of look. Okay. So you want 3 in this one. Here. Yeah, I think that's good. 3 from the edge. At block back. Outside. I'm missing a block here. means I messed up. Yeah, okay, missed. The nose is supposed to be 1 block longer. Okay, we can deal with it. We can work it out. We can work it out. No, that's not a DC hum. Dylan needs to figure something out, huh? Oops. Oh, that's way wrong. Just make things even. Oh, let's sleep on it. Find it in the morning. Funny. One of those days where I'm thinking it's Thursday somewhere. I've got some of that shaping going on here. I can fix that because I know it's not matching on both sides. I think close enough, but what have I done that's gone janky? Boat. I'm gonna bet I've got an run across the tip. It's interesting. My math said it should be an odd one at 13. But it's not. It's wider than that. Oh! Go away. One, two, wall. Wall. Oh, it's 3, wall. 1, 2, 3. That should be means I did the front end wrong. How? That up. Wanted 1 right. Oh, wait. Okay. Gotta go. Probably where I messed it up. Please. Off the edge, please. One should match the 5, but I'm going to bet you dollars to donuts that it won't. Giving it a second to update. I know the white stuff's all messed up, but that's not critical. That didn't quite. Huh. Okay. Either that didn't update, or step-ins do I have? 1, 6, 4, 5, 6. The edge, and this is extra. Okay, that's where it's come from. All extra. Okay, maybe there was something fun. Now the back end is all wrong. I do know that for sure. too wide. How many blocks wide? This. Stop. Here. Two. With cord. Way down here. Out. There-ish? Good guess. Janky. It'll be jankified. Like, whoa, wait a minute, what did I miss there? Sorry, it's like, Zerk is kind of like... No, Zerk is not like a picture on the wall, not unless it's the one from like Ghostbusters 2 that leans out and stares at you and scares the snot out of you sometimes. So it is mildly amusing. You mentioned that Zerk was a picture on the wall, and then the bot part of my broadcaster account that just decided to comment on you being an amazing mod. I think that's the perfect combination. Yeah. Less Hogwarts and more Vigo. On the other hand, I suspect Zerk does not ooze pink at crazy times. Nor does he make you steal babies. So yeah, there is that. The one from the back part. How far down? This could go really downhill really fast, and I just totally stepped in it. Lovely. Alrighty. Okay, I will cop to the fact that I was actually a kid who was scared of Ghostbusters 2 when it came out. My parents were all about going to see it fairly quickly in the theater. And yeah, not exactly my cup of tea. I don't think I was too young by any stretch of the imagination. I wasn't a teenager, I don't think. But monkeypox? Yeesh. I didn't know Fraggles were contagious. Hoping you mean monkeypox, Arch. Monkeypox would be a little strange, and poor Jim Henson would be rolling over in his grave. Have a rail here, and we're fine all the way up to the nose. Oh, come on. You would think that I would not lose sight of the line when they've got planks all over the place. Bought through in a couple of these blocks. Roughly where things... Okay, come on. Alright. Now there is indeed a suite in the front. Six wide. Convenient. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Perfect. Hoping it wasn't. So it is going to be a little off center. Just because, once again, Minecraft. But I'm thinking if I put, say, 1, 2. There. if I give it a couple of blocks of walk space in the front, maybe 3, and then 2 for like a bed, then I'm just going to throw white wool in as a temporary wall. And on this floor, on this level, I'm going to see how we were doing for spacing. That would be the one right up at the top, and we have 4 cabins in behind that. Doesn't make sense. The original booking site says, yeah, monkeypox. Okay, good. The original booking site says, how many do we have? 4 cabins on that level after the thingamajig, the suite. So that will actually help determine how big the center section is, and I can take out the walls because that's the crossover to the other. I was thinking about making each of them 3 long, and there'd be a line down the middle, which is roughly here. 2. No, that's just the wall. 3. Bed and 2. And then a wall. The wall. Doors are going to be on the outside edge, but... Huh. I do have room. Okay. What can we do with the front one? What I mean by I do have room is that I could put in the washrooms, but I'm not really sure if I want to. Make it a nicer, bigger suite. Okay. Bed with lots of space to walk around. So these are going to represent the beds for now, because that way I don't have to worry about it. And these appear to be on this level roughly. Got like one looks like a double bed. So you've got space to walk on that one side. It looks like double beds, and these ones 2 twin bed suites or suites cabins. Perfect. Okay, that will have to do for now. There's okay. That'll have to do for now. So where are we? We're off to sleep for one thing. Oh. After a while, the beacon hums. It gets to remind me kind of like a refrigerator. The really old refrigerators used to always have the crazy hum all the time. I mean, some refrigerators still have that, but not as many units. And then what did we have behind that? Just a big walking zone. That's okay. I can handle that. And just in behind it starts the restaurant and galley and such. Waypoint, maybe? Just after the... Oh. Gotta make it up as you go along, right? For odd numbers' sake, right? Ooh. It really doesn't look like we're making a whole lot of progress. But I actually, strangely enough, feel like I am, which is good. Oops. Not the world's most riveting content, but it doesn't need to be. I think part of it is just that it was really bothering me. I hadn't actually come back to work more on this project. I said I was going to do the boat portion, and I hadn't done it yet. Really, it boils down to I'm doing what I said I was going to do. Balls. It. Or and oh, 6. A little short. Okay, let's throw them in at the front. Oops, not that. I have yet to figure out where the proper entrance is of it. I'm assuming it's not on the nose of the ship, but no. Okay. So I'm temporarily out of those. That's okay. That holds space down here. 2. Okay. So now we can look at the heights. Now, from what I'm seeing on the photos, where are we here? Not that one, but this one, maybe. Yes. So we can actually see that there is not anything above. It goes right up to the next level for the height of the what do you want to call it? Wheel housing. Therefore, I don't need to worry about making these cabins extra tall. 2 blocks should do it. It's not great. I mean, these are not luxury cabins, and people were not mega tall back then. So that means that we can start working on adding in the pillars next floor. And just spacing them out a little bit. I was thinking, when it comes to curtains, I was thinking about doing it a little bit with banners, so that I'd have a gap. So 3, 4. Now the idea would be, they didn't actually have pillars on there. I mean, I probably should be doing it all with iron railing posts. Probably, actually, maybe that would look like. Choppy choppy. One down. Throw this one up. Yeah, that'll work. Actually, that's probably going to be a little bit more effective for the railing look I'm going for. So it looks like lots and lots of fences. Iron railings, I mean. Okay, well that's far more than I needed. Whoops! Well, I'll find a use for it at some point. I mean, I do have an iron farm, so if I wanted, I could probably just survive throwing it in the furnace. 2. 1, 2, 3. Now, the reason I'm doing 3 and then 1 with the secondary level is I'm thinking of doing banners in between as like curtains on the side of the ship. So, in that respect, I'm thinking of doing like a banner on this side and a banner on this side, and then a gap, and then rinse and repeat all the way around. Why I started there is just purely because this one was in the way. Yeah. Probably should have started up front. That would have made sense. No? I didn't. 1, 2, and... One, two. Fourth, we got a full. I bet you it's not going to match up. But... hey. Double. want it here. These corners are going to be really messed up. That's just peachy. Okay, well, it is what it is. This one looks too long anyways. No. I'm just too picky, I think. Bubble. Two. Well, there we go. Better. That corner at least. There. Gonna be double there anyways. Off. I don't know why I just stuck. I did. Inner corner. One. That isn't in. Okay. That. Double vertically. Great. Yes, it is. Two. Double. Two. Three. Okay, front half. We're getting there. Now I do plan to carpet the upper level of the walk around. It looks weird, but I don't know if actually may carpet may do it, but I do want the full height slab, so I'm gonna go with that. Two. That just sounds really weird when I said it that way. And that's up. Or, yay, that worked out nicely. Two. Four. Thank you very much. I have not given any thought to how one gets aboard yet. So it's gonna look really strange for a while. I miscounted. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, it's starting to look kind of like a something. Okay, so then funny. 2 feels really claustrophobic. 3 is too high. I really wish that we'd be able to put trapdoors along everything, but okay, now just take a quick look at my reference pick. I'm not going to bother bringing it up just for the split second. Yeah, so everything does go in line fully with this deck thing. I can actually go right across like this, but it only comes out as far as the rail. Sticks out a little bit. Now we are on the next level, which means the next level will actually have the cabins. Now that I've got all this weirdness laid out below, I need to actually figure out how to duplicate that up above. But at least I have an idea about the counting. Number of the counting, and the counting shall be 2. No, that's not the actual quote, but that's more relevant to what we're up to. This one. No, not that one. One there. And thank you. We're making some progress. Absolutely no idea what time it is. It's 20 to 7. Okay. 20 to the hour. See, think about it. I'm Miklaku as well, because I am my own clock, right? Mahaku will never be able to be touched. Housed over own. But we can all be our own Miklaku. I still have a lot of work left to do on emotes that I was working on. Basically, early on, my kids had said, "Oh, this is great! You're streaming. We will do all your emotes for you." Yeah, don't expect anything out of a 9-year-old or nearly 9-year-old and an 11-year-old. You're never going to get anything reliable in terms of actual output. Therefore, so I just put it off, and I thought, oh, I'll just go somewhere and I don't know, pay money for one of those services where you can just put bits together and bang, there you go, you've got emotes. And I still might do that, but an opportunity has arisen for me to try my hand at some from scratch. No idea how well that's going to work out, but definitely means that I might as well give it a try. And I can see whether or not I actually like my own work. If I don't, then I don't ever do my own. I just pay for somebody else. Okay. So experience is half the battle. Oh, no. This is why I hate bridging when I'm in the nether or something. Whether I be backwards for Java or forwards for Bedrock, I find, actually, strange enough, I find Bedrock forwards worse. But the only reason I find it worse is because I have not ever managed to successfully figure out the sweet spot where when you're this close to the layers below, you don't end up accidentally just simply clicking on the stuff below and having everything attach itself to that rather than the block you really want it to be on. But on the other hand, if I get a sore finger and just let go, then I'm in the drink pretty quick. So they both have their pros and cons. Yes, that's the only one that I've actually installed, PBZerk. The other custom ones are, like the other custom emote slots, are empty. And as I've mentioned in previous stream, I have not rushed to fill those simply because there are few that can actually use them. So once I have the ability at some point to put together follower emotes, then there'll be a bigger rush to do things. But at the moment, like I don't have a raid emote, but not a like everybody can use the default one sort of thing. But I don't have a custom raid emote, for example, or custom hearts for things, or custom waves. They're all versions of the defaults, simply because that's what is an option until you've streamed long enough. People get all, all excited about, ooh, I get to do emotes. It's not all it's cracked up to be some days. It's great to have an advertisement of yourself, but it's kind of funny because it's one of those things where Twitch really knows what they're up to in terms of a catch-22. They claim they want to make money, but then in some respects they stand in the way of some users' growth. Now, I don't necessarily... That sounds bitter on my part, but it's not intended to. What I mean by that, to be more clear about it, is I know they don't want their servers, junked up with a gazillion different emotes, and also people getting all excited and uploading things before they really think them through the first day you're suddenly an affiliate and can have things like that. I get that. I really do. They also want the money. Therefore, the tiers that make people pay money or spend their Prime sub or whatever are going to be the ones you can do right off the bat. The ones that are freebies to people who are just followers of the streams, they hold those off until the person has been around long enough and has basically what Twitch has figured is a reasonable opportunity to make Twitch money. And I guess maybe I am bitter. I don't know. But the way I see it, it's a bit of a stymie for some of the new streamers' growth because you have a difficulty during those first 60 days, or I think it was, of stream time before you can get follower emotes. You're a little bit stymied in terms of being able to easily publicly brand yourself by having followers able to use emotes when you go places or do things or move from channel to channel. Like, for example, I was in Choir's Life's channel just the other day, and he said something, and he says, we want to get some love or hype out for something or other, and I threw up my hype emote, and he goes, wow, that's one I've never seen before. And it wasn't necessarily a wow in a good way, it was just simply wow, because some of them, for fairly new or fairly small streamers, you've seen them to death. And so I'd used the sheep. So, I mean, I need to do that, but the other reason I hadn't rushed was because I'm still working on figuring out, that's starting to sound like a comment, but they say, find yourself, figure out who you are. I know that sounds all hippie and stuff. Until you know who you are, it's really difficult to come up with a brand. Right? And so I quite like Carnage Joe's latest growth of her look, because she's got a lovely paw print logo. I wouldn't know where to start in terms of not how to make one, but to even come up with what I would want. I'm naive, and I kind of figured it wouldn't necessarily fall into place one day, but through the practice of just doing the streaming, that I would get an idea somewhere along the line. Hasn't happened. Not critical, but hasn't happened. So, yeah. And that goes a little bit to the idea of small streamers staying small, because we shoot ourselves in the foot by not knowing what we want and who we want to be. And we don't want to be, well, I don't know about we, but I don't want to be streamers that are so big I can't even remember their names kind of thing. But I don't want to be the Silence and the Slack Lizards and the whatever of the world. I don't have my hook. That's one of those things I sometimes think about. It's actually funny, though. I used to be concerned about it. One weird dream solved it. That sounds bizarre, but it's true. I had one weird dream about trying to come up with an IP thing. And unfortunately, I've worked with enough people in my life that I actually had a dream about getting sued, which was not true, but it was just really odd. Like it was very much a kangaroo, silly kind of thing. It wasn't anywhere near what would actually happen if I had an IP issue in that respect. But woke up going, yeah, not just you need coffee, but also that I needed to take a break, think about something else for a while. So I went and did some knitting and watched some YouTube videos. Or not about stream for change. Because I had to put myself in a different headspace. Obviously, things were getting a little too serious when I was dreaming about it. I figure it's unhealthy to dream about stream changes. I do it. I picked up wool when I meant to get wood. Dream about stream changes, but that's initially because it was exciting. Not to say that it's not exciting anymore. It's definitely still exciting, but I have to monitor that and moderate the reaction. Stairs. The other thing I have to figure out is stairs. We have some stairs with us, but I have to figure out where this stairs are going to go up from one level to the next. Looking at the designs, or in the pictures, it's hard to see where the stairs would be. I'm assuming that they would actually be in the center section in behind these bulkhead pieces. That's probably where I'm going to hide them. But of course, in the pictures, you don't get to see that because it's hidden by keep calling them different things, but the box that holds the wheel. Yeah, that. Oops. Oh, for anyone who isn't aware already, there are some. So we are having a stream weekend this weekend starting on Saturday. There has been a shift in schedule. It turns out for CJRV Williams, who was going to be streaming at 1 p.m. Eastern. No, pardon me. Well, let's actually just put the picture up. That'd be sensible. For CJRV Williams, who was going to be streaming, it looks like he has had a work commitment come up, and he's still going to be there. Yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern. There we go. I was doing the math in my head. And I've had to switch slots with him so that he can have some flexibility to do what he needs to do. So I will be in the 3 p.m. Eastern slot rather than the 7 p.m. one. And that's just on Saturday. Sunday's staying the same. But I figured rather than having Peregrine redo his art all over again, I would just mention it verbally. Because this is my last stream before Saturday, so nobody's really gonna know if I got it right or if I got it wrong between now and then. It occurred to me just now as I said that I've even forgotten to post the picture on Twitter this round. So, not so helpful. Far too much going on. This weekend is stream weekend for me, as I said, with the long weekend. And then next weekend, part of the reason I voted when we were doing our scheduling not to have the long or the next weekend is that I've got a group camp for scouts, which is actually, it's important because it's our sort of year-end style, every section camping together camp. And it's critical because at the end of this camp, we're having our family barbecue ceremony promotion sort of thing. And my son will be moving up from our Cub section to our Scout section as part of that ceremony. So it's, aside from being one of the leaders, it's also quite critical that I was out there for the ceremonies stuff. And so my head's been in that a lot this week with regards to planning and making sure that we've got all the pieces and making sure that we have time to go and shop for stuff if we need to, or put craft kits together or whatever it is we need to do. Which has meant less thinking about streaming for a change. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to the weekend, or this weekend, because I'm hoping to watch a few more of our usuals. I'm thinking I may, question-wise, if I get to watch the stream, see whether or not Brief has a follow-up on his son's English presentation, because apparently his son got to choose whatever topic he wanted, and chose to discuss the life cycle of the axolotl. Hard to say if it was whatever topic he wanted, or if the teacher had said it had to be some sort of life cycle. Anyway, so it's his English as a second language type course, and so Creef was helping him with that, and so I jokingly told him, well, he'll have to tell me more about it on the weekend, and he said, sure thing. So I might actually hold him to it. I'm deadly curious to know what his son came up with. Yeah. And as usual, you guys are dead right. There probably will be more research of some sort. I will probably have some sort of other random tidbitty information. Hopefully not about Agatha Christie this time, although I don't know. We'll see, because I don't intend to be working on the boat. I intend to be getting, well, hopefully not getting my head chopped off attacking a pillager tower. But one thing I'm going to try and do, if I get a chance tomorrow, is to test my mouse and just see if I can actually get it to be somewhat cooperative on the mouse to be able to get to, or make my bow function properly. It don't right now. Nope. That's not what I want. There's please. Okay. Oh. Way. Bottom. Yeah, because it's narrow. Okay, that's as far as I get. Oh, actually, we've got a lot more space up front. These. Maybe I'll have them pop out right at the top. So they're just sort of barely hidden. Same on the other side. Pop this pull out. Okay. Here, I believe. Yeah, that should match. And then decorative purposes. That one. And the tacky scale, actually. Yeah, I don't like that. I really don't like that. Let them pop out of the top with lab variety. Dead. Even care about that. Yeah, that's more comfortable up and down. Have his son stream it to us so we learn about it too. I would love it if he did that. I really would love it. But I don't know. One of the questions actually I thought about was he sounded like he's potentially still in our equivalency of like elementary or grade school, which would be not necessarily a wise idea. Be having your kids saying stuff on stream. I don't know. Everybody's got their own take on the appropriateness of that. No, I'm not jumping. On. So, so maybe his son will be involved. That I don't know. Yeah, I would love to hear his son actually present and tell us all about axolotls. It was just a funny conversation that he and I had on stream about after helping his son with project. I assume it was just practicing. That he says he knows a lot more about the life cycle of the axolotl than he ever thought he would. Oh, do tell. And then it turned out we had other things come up and didn't get that far. But he said, tune in on Saturday for more on the life of the axolotl. Okay. But on the other hand, I guess, did he do his homework? Tis. Actually, I may have to do some sort of homework on researching something. Just so I can tell Arch I did my homework. Huh. Well, that's a new one. You can probably see these guys off in the distance, but there's a pillager patrol over there. And I find it interesting because I had never seen them on that side before. They're usually on this other side here, like in behind the trees back there. Alrighty, so it has just hit the top of the hour. I'm going to finish up just enough that we can get a half-decent shot from the bow, and then take 2 screenshots before I sign off. I put that down now. One of the 2 screenshots will be with everything except my what do you call it? Heads-up display? No, whatever. User interface. There we go. On the game, and the other one would be without the face cam in there, just so that when I upload this to YouTube, I do not have the face cam. The internet never forgets, but at least we can pretend when Twitch auto-deletes stuff on me that it's not as permanent as it would be when I'm archiving things. As for homework, I really should also check out at some point. What is it that constitutes the views that get counted on Twitch videos? Because seriously, I really don't believe anybody ever actually goes back and watches my videos. Like, I don't get why that would ever be. So half the time I think it's me doing it, depending on when and where it counts, just because I hit refresh when I'm checking something out or testing a piece out page or something, and it auto starts the little tiny block up top. I've not quite figured out how to shut that down. Haven't really paid a whole lot of attention. Yeah. Okay. So down on the yeah, so being up higher, I guess we can see those guys better. And we see part of the ship. Right. So we are finally getting around to playing the game and getting this ship built. Yeah, I want to say thank you to everybody who managed to pop in and join me for this evening. I will see you guys on Saturday, as I just fall into a hole. Yes, backwards it is. So yeah, on Saturday we will be on at 1 p.m. Eastern. Feel free to bring your lunch if you are so inclined. Otherwise, we will join you guys later. And I hope everybody has a great evening. Now let's just see. Head off to the end screen, but then I will make sure that somebody interesting is around, and we will get ourselves. Huh. I must be right on the top of the hour. Well, you know what? I must see our friend CJRV Williams, so I think we're going to head on over there. And yes, that looks dumb in a face cam, but that's okay. We're going to head on over there. Feel free to say hi, give them our best, all that. And yeah, that's where we're going to go. Hope you guys have yourselves a great evening, and I will see you.
Mischief managed.